witches, mystics, wandering souls. Tonight I want to tell you a story about remembering. Not who you were taught to be, but who you were before the teaching began. There once was a river that wound its way through a quiet land, older than the roads, older than the names written on maps. It did not rush. It did not boast its depth. It simply moved, patient, steady, inevitable. Most people crossed it without stopping. Some were too busy carrying titles they'd earned. Some were weighed down by names given to them by others. Some were afraid that if they lingered too long, something might be taken away. But there were stories whispered about the river. It was said that if you stood at its edge and truly listened, the water would speak, not loudly, not in words meant for anyone else, only your name. One evening, a traveler arrived at the river's bank. They had gone by many names in their life, names shaped by expectations, names polished for survival, names worn like armor until they forgot the feeling of their own skin beneath them. They knelt beside the water, unsure why they'd stopped. The river said nothing at first. It flowed as it always had, indifferent to being watched, unconcerned with being understood. The traveler waited. They did not ask a question. They did not demand an answer. They listened. At first, all they heard was movement, the sound of water over stone, the quiet persistence of current. Then, something else, a resonance, a familiarity that settled in their chest before it ever reached their ears. The river spoke their name, not the name written on documents, not the name called across crowded rooms, not the name that carried duty, reputation, or expectation. It spoke the name that existed before they learned how to perform, before they learned what was required to be safe, before they learned how to disappear inside usefulness. The traveler felt it more than heard it, a recognition, not a sound. And with it came a release. The weight they had been carrying loosened, not because it was taken, but because it was no longer needed. The river did not tell them who to become. It did not ask them to change. It simply remembered them and invited them to do the same. When the traveler rose, they did not feel transformed. They felt aligned. The names they carried did not vanish, but they no longer clung so tightly. They could wear them when needed and set them down when they were done. The river continued on its way, unmoved by the moment it had just offered. It did not wait for gratitude. It did not seek witnesses. It would speak again when it was time, for someone else, or perhaps for the same soul many years later. If you ever find yourself standing at the edge of such a river, wondering who you are beneath everything you've learned to be, listen. It already knows your name. And as always, keep your gaze enchanted.